Hi, this is Andy James for jamplay.com. In this lesson we're going to be taking a look at some string skipping arpeggio ideas. Here's the first shape we're going to be taking a look at. Okay, this is a simple string skip in the key of E minor, and we're going to be playing 15-12 high E string, 16-12 on the G, and then 14 on the D string. Now the reason why I favour string skipping over sweep picking is the fact that the notes are a bit more separate and you've got a little bit more option to sequence what you're doing. So instead of kind of having this kind of really rubbish sounding straight up, straight down. I mean, I'll have to apologise because my, playing that kind of thing I've always found pretty awkward. So it really just does prop up my point of, using string skipping, because instead of going, you can, and then you can move into other arpeggios or whatever. But you can actually sequence some of these ideas. So you could have something like this. Which you can't really do, with sweeping in that small confinement of just the sort of D string up to the high E string. So it's something that I use a lot to get around the guitar, and I find it a very fluid and comfortable technique to do. There's really only three shapes that you kind of need to know, doing string skip arpeggios and stuff. That's the minor version of that. And we're going to take a look at a major version of that, which is just going to be moving from 15 up to 16 on the high E string. Then we're going to play 16, 13 on the G, and then 14 on the D. Okay, so you've still got the same root, but we're just changing a couple of the notes to make it major sounding, so more happy. So in comparison to the first shape. Okay, and then the last shape that you kind of want to get your head around is the sort of diminished shape, and we're going to be playing 15-12 high E, 15-12 G, and then 14 on the D. Okay, the great thing about that shape is that you're playing the same frets on two strings, so you haven't really got to do any shifting whatsoever, and then you've just got the same root note as the other two arpeggios that we looked at. So when you play those back to back, you're just going to be looking at practicing these. Carrying on with the string skip theme, we're going to take a look at some pentatonic ideas. We're going to take a look at the first position E minor pentatonic and just look at how you can spice that scale up a little bit with just jumbling some of the notes around using string skipping. So here's the first example. And what you'd expect to hear up to speed. Okay, and you can also do that descending as well, which would sound like this. Okay, so as you can see, the normal pentatonic would just be, straight up, straight down. It's just 5 notes, but adding the string skipping in there as well can add a real tension to that. It feels like it's sort of building, and it doesn't necessarily sound that pentatonic as opposed to just playing straight up and straight down. There's another way of extending out this pentatonic idea by using two shapes. So we've got the first position and the second position, and just combining them in more of a 3-note bestring style. So we've got this position and then this position, which is second position E minor pentatonic as well. And basically we can just string skip over that and play this kind of thing. Okay, so as you can see, that's a good way of playing the pentatonic scale really fast, using 2 positions this time and string skipping as well. So again, it sounds less pentatonic than the traditional sort of sound that you hear. And you're going to be using alternate picking, but basically coming down, there's going to be a little bit of a different technique. So alternate picking going up, but when you come down again, the first 2 notes of that last shape will be picked and then just pull off. Like that to finish it off. Okay, there's a slight variation on the first shape that we looked at, which if you're having difficulty, you might want to simplify things a little bit just to get you on the road to doing clean string skipping, which means you're just going to go up and then down, so you'd have this. So rather than having a sequence, like, you'll just go straight up and then coming down. If you're kind of having difficulty with any of those things, then maybe just go back to the drawing board a little bit and get used to just skipping over the string and then going back. So up to tempo, you'd have this. Okay, the last thing I want to show you with the first position E minor pentatonic is maybe extending those intervals out a bit further with the string skipping. So you really would just be skipping out the A and the B string entirely and not playing anything on those notes. So at a slow tempo, ascending, you'd have this. Okay, and then coming back down, you pretty much just mirror that. Okay, so up to speed, both of those should sound like this. Okay, so again, it doesn't sound pentatonic at all. It sounds like a really kind of wide interval lick, and it's just a little bit more interesting, but you're still using that first position pentatonic scale. So you're not really giving your mind much problems in terms of like, well, how do I make something sound a bit more interesting? All you're doing is just taking this string skipping idea and just seeing how many ways you can make the pentatonic scale sound different without actually changing your knowledge of what you're doing. So, it's actually quite a good repeating lick if you just play it over and over again.